What if I told you that we might be about to get a Dave Grohl 335 from Gibson or maybe Epiphone? Because I'm about to tell you that. Hey folks, my name is 3-Chord Dave. Thanks for joining me for this cool video where you're going to find all the cool news about all the cool stuff and the coolness. I said cool enough yet? Anyway, Cesar from Gibson, he's the interim CEO. We're going to talk about him and what he did. In just a moment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, especially if you want to know all the latest guitar news before it's even news. Yes, we have been notoriously leaking information on this channel, so if you're new here, subscribe. That would be super cool. Hit the notification bell too, because that'll remind you when we do every episode or anything that's going on. We do a 3-Chord Dave live show every Saturday. We have a lot of fun talking to cool people. If you'd like to talk to cool people about guitars and music and all kinds of stuff, and be part of competitions, then you can hit that notification bell and join us. It'll be super cool. Make sure you come along Saturday. Say hello, because, you know, it's cool. Hit the links in the description below as well. Support the channel and do all the things, because that is what happens on YouTube. Now, Cesar is the interim CEO of Gibson. It was just announced last week, in fact, that is his new gig, his new job. He's also the president of Gibson, so that's his permanent job. So he's got two jobs, I guess, at Gibson, which is weird. Anyway, on Instagram, Cesar basically is one of the greatest sources of leaks from Gibson, because he sits around playing guitars in offices and warehouses and stuff where there's other cool guitars in the background, and eagle-eyed people spot things and go, ooh, I think that's what that is. And we've had an awful lot of leaks from Cesar's Instagram page. He does it on purpose. He's building hype for Gibson and Epiphone products and Kramer products as well, and Mesa products and all kinds of Gibson brands products. He does a great job. Hype machine Cesar, they should call him. He's fantastic. And now he's the CEO. The shackles are off. He can do whatever he wants. He is the kingpin. And the first thing he's done is an Ask Me Anything over on Instagram. Some of the questions he were asked were kind of interesting. Two of them in particular I find really interesting, and obviously there's that big juicy one, which is going to be at the end of the video, so if you want to just stick around, that'll be great for the YouTube algorithm and all that sort of stuff. Now we'll talk about all of them as we go, but I just want to point out, so what happens is Cesar just posted the question and the answer. There was no tag to who had asked the question, not that I could see anyway, so I don't know if anyone actually asked these questions, or if this is a way of just being like, hey, let's say we did an Ask Me Anything and put out these random questions, because my question didn't get answered. My question is, why the hell do we not have an Epiphone Les Paul Deluxe in Pearl Blue, obviously, but that hasn't been answered, at least not yet as far as I'm aware. But here we go. Question number one: can Gibson lower the price so I can buy more Gibsons? And the answer to that question, I should say, was at Epiphone. Yes, they just tagged Epiphone. So obviously the thinking in Gibson is, if you can't afford a Gibson, or if you don't have enough money for a Gibson, it's not save up and buy a Gibson, it's buy Epiphones. They're getting expensive too, so that's an interesting answer to that question. The question of, are Gibsons too expensive, will always be asked, and they will probably always be answered, but you can always buy an Epiphone. So that's the answer anyway. Gibson think that you should buy an Epiphone. Now the next question, quite interesting. I knew these were coming this month. In fact, next week I believe they're coming. Although Cesar watches his channel sometimes, and he might push this back a week now that I've said that. But when are the Dave Mustaine Epiphones coming out? And he said this month, and he also, interestingly, tagged Kramer. So we should be seeing those Dave Mustaine Epiphones, which we've seen glimpses of in leaks from the Epiphone factory a little while ago. They look good. They look very good. So yeah, looking forward to those. As I said, they should be out next week. Just maybe the week after. Just, you know what Cesar's like when he finds out I'm leaking information again. So that's an interesting one. I think that's a really cool question that was answered. It's great. Again, both of those questions don't really leak any information too much. We knew those Epiphone Dave Mustaines were coming, so nothing exciting there. When are the 80s Explorers going to be offered in white? Because who cares? Yeah, they brought them out in black last week. Was it last week? And now they're going to bring them out in white. But Cesar's answer was this year, 2023. That could mean next week, could mean the week after, it could mean in September. Nobody knows. Sometimes Cesar will say later this year, and it's like the next day. So just bear in mind, they could drop at any time. I won't be buying one because I'm not excited by the color white on the guitar. I think, in fact, if it's not Pelham Blue, I wonder why they haven't made it Pelham Blue. It's just a thing. So before we get too far into it, we got two really interesting questions coming up from this Ask Me Anything. But I want to point out that if you're watching this video on YouTube, you could have watched it 24 hours ago over on Patreon. All you got to do is sign up on Patreon. The link's in the description below. And it's one of the coolest things that you can do to support the channel. You're supporting me directly as a creator, and you get full access because you can message me over there if you want, and I'll answer you directly. Also, you get the videos at least 24 hours early. There's exclusive content over there as well. More and more coming all the time. And it starts off for free because it's a free trial. So if this is your first 3 Chord Dave live video, consider signing up because it's cool. You get all the free stuff over there. And it's only $3 a month after that to continue. And you can obviously go up the levels if you want. Now, thank you for that. There's also merch links and stuff if you want to be super, super, super cool, which you might want to do. Now, the next question, the penultimate question of what we're going to cover. There was other questions, but they weren't that exciting. Will there be an Epiphone Green? And the answer was simply yes. Now, we knew that there was going to be an Epiphone Green release at some point. We just don't know whether it's going to be a Murphy Labs style relic'd guitar like the original Greenie release was, or if it's going to be one of those faded Les Paul standards with maybe different pickups in it. Either way, you're probably looking at $14.99 on the Epiphone side of things for Greenie. But if they do go relic'd and make it like an Epiphone Murphy Lab type of thing, don't be surprised if you're paying well over $2,000 for one of those. I don't know that for sure. I've been told they're trying to crack that. Whether they do or not, I'm not sure. Like the whole Murphy Lab Epiphone thing. Whether that comes to anything, whether it's a real thing or not, I don't know. But that's what I've been told. So if they manage it, it'll be expensive. But I think a lot of people will go for that over the faded standard Greenie, which is kind of not really a Greenie at all. But anyway, that's a whole other thing that we could get into, but we won't. Not today. They're going to have to give the Gibsons time to sell though. So I don't expect to see an Epiphone this year. I think we'll see it early next year is when we're looking at that. Now, the interesting question, the one that inspired a thumbnail and made you click on it so that you'd watch this video: can we get a DG335 core model or Epiphone model? Of course, Dave Grohl has had a signature model with Gibson for a long time, but it hasn't been reissued in a long time. That's the other thing. There's 3 versions: a black one, gold one, and a Pelham Blue sexy one. Now, the Pelham Blue would be obviously the one I think most people would associate with Dave Grohl and would think of coming first. They're very, very popular. If you go on Reverb, you'll be paying anything from, I think, about $12,000 to $25,000 for one of these guitars. And I'm pretty sure the ones that are $12,000 are either seriously broken or they are fakes that people are just trying to make a lot of money on. You can find fakes of these as well, selling quite readily on certain websites and apps and things for a few $100. But if you want an actual Gibson core model, which would be great, or an Epiphone, Cesar said okay. Wait a minute. Just backtrack for a second, because all of the other questions were related to Epiphone or Gibson products we already knew were coming. This one, nobody knew this was a thing. We don't even know if it is a thing right now, but it appears that Cesar has actually given us some information. He says okay to a DG335 reissue, whether it's a Gibson core model or an Epiphone model. I'm excited. I think these will sell. They'll be $1,500 if they're Epiphones, and they'll probably be $3,500 if they're Gibsons, but they will sell like something that sells a lot. Guaranteed. I'm excited. I'm surprised he said okay, not just no or nothing. In fact, he didn't have to answer this question, which makes it so interesting that he did. Anyway, I want to know what you think. Would you jump all over an Epiphone? I mean, not literally, I just mean, would you buy it as quickly as you could? And yeah, I think it'd look cool. If you check out the thumbnail again, it would look pretty cool with that little Epiphone name on the headstock, if that's what they go with. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. That would be super cool. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button, and do all the things. I'll see you soon for 3 Chord Dave Live. I'll be back with another guitar related video very soon. But until then, take care.